Hey there folks, Rel here. In the background you'll see some gameplay from Defiance while I share some thoughts on better gaming. The topic of today's episode is about being humble and why it is important. So back in the early vanilla World of Warcraft days, I ran a guild named Shadow Dance on Silver Moon server, and I was a Night Elf rogue, and I made a lot of PvP videos, posted them on the server forums where they drew a lot of attention, and over time I was generally regarded as a very good rogue, the best on the server according to some people, and this turned out to be a huge problem for me. In those days I was younger and I had a pretty big ego just to start out with. I still do, I just hide it a lot better. And if there's one thing that I've learned, it's that it's really difficult to be humble about things you're good at, so especially at that age. And the teen years are kind of funny because you're struggling to find your place, find some sort of identity and fulfillment, and you want to feel important. So when people reinforce something you already think is true, it's very easy to get carried away, and it tends to seep into everything you do. You care less about learning from others or hearing what they have to say. Mentally, your cup becomes full. This is an extremely bad thing, and if you can break the habit and sort of alter your mindset early on, you will be wildly successful later on in life. Anyway, as that ego kept building and building, I started to really annoy the people around me. I ended up being this sort of teenage elitist jerk who felt that other people in the game needed to show me some sort of respect, or that I deserved certain things, just because of this image that was built up around my character. And when you spell it out like that, it sounds kind of douchey, right? I mean, I feel like I was entitled to certain things because of people, thinking that I'm a very good player, that I'm this guy and I'm popular and you need to, recognize who you're talking to, and But everyone does this to a degree. I mean, think about this. So when someone says, "I told you so," does that drive you like absolutely nuts? And it's something I stopped saying, or at least I try to, because it's not helpful, it's not important, it's just a way for a person to try to establish some sort of dominance over you, and a way for them to express that they are better than you. And it's that ego, that sense of superiority that creates conflicts, and not just in those instances, but other places in life. How much is that ego actually going to help you? It might help you sleep better, especially as a teenager, because that sense of importance is what makes you feel all sorts of warm and toasty in the moment. And even developmentally, teens have a harder time projecting and planning for the future, which is why the present is so awesome at that age. I mean, if you're a teenager now, or if you can recount to when you were a teenager, everything is epic, and it's life or death important, and you need to go to that after party, or you need to sit next to your friends during the school assembly. And as you get older, it's like, whatever. I don't need to go to that party tonight, or I'll catch up with my friends later. And it's not that these things become less important, it's just that you tend to see their importance in a longer view. And I'm not trying to rag on teenagers, I'm just trying to contextualize the mindsets at different ages. But I am getting a little bit off topic. The point is, when you have an ego, you push people away. Or they feel like they can't talk to you, or they feel like what they say might be stupid, or that you think that they're better than them, and that they're wasting your time. But when you're humble, people tend to ask you questions. They try to relate to you. They care more about what you're saying because they feel as if you care more about them. And this is a really big deal, especially in the job market. Unless you're trying to get a job in a business with an old sort of push, hard sell you marketing mindset, or if you're in a factory line just getting paid by how quickly you can put things together, people hire people who care. People who are willing to learn. People who don't think they know everything. That's who gets hired. In the martial arts, that's someone who has an empty cup. And being humble is how you become better at things too. It's knowing that there is always something you can learn, and you can learn something from anyone, really. And that lesson might not be exactly what you expect either. Oh, here's an example of that. There was a lot of hate when I did the preview, not the review, the preview and or rant video for the anti-vehicle turret. And I thought that the turret was very powerful, overpowered even, and a number of the comments said things like, "This turret isn't overpowered, it sucks, you were only able to kill this, or you couldn't even kill this, etc, etc. And to me, I didn't learn that I was wrong, that the turret wasn't overpowered. I absolutely still think it is. The lesson that came across to me was that people are watching the footage, and instead of drawing their own assumptions as to how powerful the turret could be in different situations, they were literally seeing what I was and was not doing in the footage, and then basing their opinion on that. So what that really translated into for me, the lesson that I took from it, was that I should have used better footage to get my point across. And if you watch the more in-depth anti-vehicle turret review that came out later, you'll probably notice that the comments are actually more toward the side of the turret being overpowered. That's kind of where the opinion is leaning towards. So in other words, they were more in line with the opinion that I was trying to express in the first video, and that's because I used much stronger footage in the in-depth review. And that's a long and kind of contrived example, but someone more egotistical than me would have said, they would have responded to the comments and just said, no, you're an idiot, that's wrong. And that would be the end of it. They would have completely missed a great opportunity to learn something that could be extremely beneficial to them. So we're going to try to end this episode with a challenge, something I personally find very, very, very difficult. The challenge to all of you is to shift your mindset a little bit by trying to be a little more humble and a lot less egotistical. And how we are going to try to do that is by altering our language. So the next time you make a forum post or a comment or talk to someone for that matter, don't use the word I, me, or my. It's extremely, extremely difficult, and it sounds easy, but just try it. Here's an example. So on the forums, you'll see someone post, they'll make a post and they'll say, this is my idea that I had for the infiltrator class. Instead of saying, here's an idea for the infiltrator class. We already know it's your idea. You're the person writing the post. And honestly, it's probably the same as 50 other ideas that were previously posted. And don't misconstrue things. I'm not saying that you should eliminate these words from your vocabulary. I'm giving you something to explore. It's an experiment that may or may not teach you something about yourself. But anyway, that's all I had to share. If you found this video enlightening, I guess, or interesting or entertaining, please feel free to like, subscribe, and tell your friends about the channel. And I'm extremely interested in hearing what you all have to say. It's definitely been a long time since I've posted a Thoughts on Better Gaming episode, so leave a comment below even if you just feel like talking about the game Defiance. Thanks very much, folks. We're all signing off.